Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at the 1997 release by Playmates from their Star Trek Warp Factor 2 series of action figures. And this particular one that we are looking at today is from Star Trek the Motion Picture, and it is of Ilia, or they are Ilia Probe. Which is what she became after she was taken by Vija and sent back to the Enterprise to find out why the carbon units were infesting the Enterprise. Okay, so this is the card in front of us, and at the very top it's got serialized Warp Factor Series 2 Star Trek, and it says features Vija and Starfleet Action Base. It's got Ilia Probe and it's stock number 65102, and there you can see the USS Enterprise flying through space. And on the bottom right hand corner it says ages 4 and up, assortment number 65100, and you've got the Playmates logo, and you've got warning, choking hazard, small parts not suitable for children under 3. And if I just turn that to the side, you can see it's collector's series and it's collector's edition number, and this one is 036583. Okay, let's just turn the card to the back, and at the back it says Ilia Probe as featured in Star Trek the Motion Picture, and the figure comes complete with Vija, which was the ancient Earth probe altered by machine race. Assemble all 5 pieces to complete the Vija probe, and you've got a Starfleet action base, and it says Star Trek, and you've got figures in the collection. So you've got Star Trek the Motion Picture, which is the Ilia Probe, which is this one. You've got Star Trek the Next Generation, Captain Beverly Bacall from All Good Things. Star Trek Deep Space 9, Lita, the Dabo girl. Star Trek Deep Space 9, Cisco as a Klingon from Apocalypse Rising. And Star Trek Voyager, Sworn Alien from The Swarm. Not suitable for children under 36 months, contains small parts, and it's distributed by Band-Aid in the UK. And at the bottom it says Starfleet Records Database Memory Alpha, Starfleet Vija Encounter, subject figure encounter. Stardate 74112.6. When a destructive machine organism calling itself Vija was detected heading for Earth, Admiral James T. Kirk requested a temporary demotion to captain so he could once again command the USS Enterprise and confront the entity. Lieutenant Ilia, a Deltian, was assigned as his navigator. When Vija scanned the Enterprise bridge, it digitalized Ilia into its database. Vija then created a probe in Ilia's image to explore the Enterprise, which Vija believed was a life form. Kirk discovered that Vija was once Voyager 6, an ancient NASA exploration craft. Vija transmitted its accumulated knowledge, which caused it to evolve to a higher plane, taking Ilia and Commander Decker with it. Note, Lieutenant Ilia classified as missing in action. And on the right hand side, you've got the Playmates logo and the Playmates web address. Ages 4 and up, assortment number 65100, stock number 65102, and you've got the Playmates logo. It says join the official Star Trek fan club at 1-800 True Fan, and you've got this was the Star Trek Next Generation 10th anniversary, and the Paramount Toys. Okay, so that's the back of the card. Let's turn the card back round and have a good look at the figure itself. Okay, so I've zoomed right in on the figure itself. I wanted to have a good look at the facial features of the figure. I'm just going to bring a little bit further forward because I wanted to see how well she looks to the actress who portrayed the part. The actress was Persis Kambata, who was an Indian. That's just a little bit of mark on the bubble there. It's not a damage to her head at all, it's just a mark on the bubble which I can't seem to get off. But anyway, so she was portrayed by the late great Persis Kambata, who was a very gorgeous Indian actress, and she was also a model and beauty pageant title holder, and she played the part of Ilia, which I think was her first major Hollywood film role. She had been a famous actress in Indian films, but I think this was her first major Hollywood role, and she played the part wonderfully. Sadly, unfortunately, she passed away in 1998, not long after this figure was released. So yeah, it was a shame, really. She's very, very sudden death, but there we are. Yeah, real shame. Anyway, so the likeness is not that bad, actually. I don't think they've got it quite right, but it is a fairly good likeness of Persis overall, and as the Ilia Probe. There's a few little marks on this bubble that are interfering with the image itself, with the picture itself, actually. But there we go. You can see there on the bubble as I move the card around. It's not actually on the figure itself, so it's just the marks on the bubble. But there you can see she's dressed in her white gown, which Kirk put onto her when she arrived back in the Enterprise as the Probe, because she originally appeared in a sonic shower naked, and he outfitted her with this robe through their, I don't know, it was transporter beaming, I don't know, but however they did it. So there she is, and she's, if you can just see at the bottom there, she's got her shoes on, her pink high heel shoes, and that's about all she's wearing. There's nothing else that she's wearing. And then, of course, you've got the 5 pieces of the Vija probe, and you just assemble those 5 pieces to build Vija, just as it appears on the back of the card, like this. And, of course, just behind there, you've got the Starfleet stand. Okay, let's have a measure of Ilia. Now, Ilia will stand approximately 12 centimeters tall. She is about 5 centimeters wide and about 2 centimeters deep. So the standard size of the Playmates action figures from this era. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, she's sealed on the pack. I can't remove her. However, I do have my trusted Jadzia Dax figure, who comes from a similar series. However, the articulation on this one is probably far better than the one from this Warp Factor series, and that's simply because of the this was, I think, a later figure where they modified the movements of the figure. So articulation on this one is far better, but you can see from Ilia, she's got the articulation of the top of the arms. That will move, the head will move side to side, the waist, you know, I'm not exactly sure. Yes, the waist will move, so I wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not, but it does. The tops of the legs will move slightly because she's in the same skirt design as my Jadzia, so the legs will move slightly, but you can see I've got knee joints on this one, but you can see on here there's no knee joints and there's no elbow joints, so they're not going to move. So this one is actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of articulation, which is a little bit disappointing really, for these figures, because Playmates usually had a very good articulation, so I am a little bit disappointed with that, but generally it's still a very, very nice figure. And would display very well next to the Vija model. Okay, so how well did these figures do? Well, like all Playmates figures of the time, yeah, they done exceptionally well. I mean, obviously in 1997, Star Trek was a very, very big thing. There was lots going on in Star Trek, lots of television series. We had the Next Generation, we had, well, Next Generation had finished but had gone to the movies by then. But we still had Star Trek Voyager, we had Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Enterprise. So that all of those were going on at the time, and obviously then we had the movies that were the new movies that were coming out with the Next Generation, and we also had the reruns of the original TV series plus the original movies. So there was an awful lot going on in Star Trek. It was a massive franchise back in the 90s, and when any figures were released, any items for Star Trek, there was so much demand for them. Everybody who was anybody liked Star Trek, so everybody who was anybody would buy something when these figures come out. And there was an awful lot of collectors around at the time that always wanted to buy the figures when they first were released. I can remember when we had the shop, we had so many pre-orders for these figures, and the trouble was it was fulfilling them because you had to buy these in case quantities, and there was different number of figures in each case. So if someone wanted Ilia, for example, you might have only got 1 or 2 in a case, and you've had 10 people that want the figure. So in order to get those figures for those people that wanted them, you had to buy 10 cases. And of course, then you ended up with multiple figures that you had too many of. So it was just a weird way of doing it, the way they made the cases. It'd be much better if the cases contained an even amount of each figure. But then I guess they wanted some of them to be more collectible than others. Some of them, obviously the ones with the lesser quantities, were the ones that were are now considered to be the most collectible and the more difficult to find. So yes, to answer the question, they've done exceptionally well, sold out very quickly, as did all of these range. Now we're talking 27 years on, or 27 years on. These figures are even more collectible than they were back in 1997. And they're becoming harder and harder to find. You're getting less and less of these figures appearing on the platforms. Obviously, because people have bought them and put them in their own collection. Maybe they've opened them and put them on display. I don't know. But they are becoming harder and harder to find, especially in this mint and open condition. Don't get me wrong. You can pick up figures quite easily on the platforms, but they're usually opened, out the packets, missing accessories and so on. You don't quite often see so many now that are still sealed like this one in the original packaging. So they are becoming harder and harder and much more difficult to find. However, yes, you know it, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a few of these, and they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that, there's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that you're not going to want to miss this, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be the item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next time.